In this video we'll be traveling from Songshan railway station in Taipei to Hualien in the east of Taiwan, on board of one of the not most everyday trains you can find here in Taiwan. We'll be traveling aboard of the Tze-Chiang Express trains. These trains can be found literally all over Taiwan as the non-high-speed intercity trains, but the rolling stock we have for this route is quite unique. I'll show you all in this video. Join me on this not so everyday long distance non-high-speed train here in Taiwan. I hope you like this video or this is a helpful video to you. If so, please give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more trip reports about more sustainable ways of transportation, then hit that subscribe button. For now, let's roll the intro. And we'll start off this video at the railway station of Songshan, located in New Taipei City. This basically feels the same as Taipei, so for the rest of the video I'll just call this Taipei. And something else, I actually did this trip the other way around, but because I recently already featured Hualien railway station, I'll just start off by showing you this railway station, what is once again Songshan in Taipei. It's really good integrated within the metro over here, and something I noticed between the metro area and the railway station were some remote offices, so you can work remotely from the railway station. I really like this. If you go around here by metro, you can travel easily with the use of an easy card, and you can also use these easy cards if you're traveling on board of regional trains. That doesn't count for the train that we'll be taking today. There are some bus stops around the railway station, and obviously you also find some taxi stands. To be honest, I don't really know this neighborhood that well. Every time when I arrive here, it's mainly by metro and train, and mainly I switch between those modes of transportation when I'm at this spot. And if you haven't noticed already from my previous videos, my girlfriend is originally from Taiwan, so I'm here pretty often to visit, for example, my family-in-law, friends, and thanks to my work, I can also work remotely from Taiwan. Although for work I still prefer to be in Europe. Anyway, time to enter the railway station versus shopping mall. The ground floor and the upper floors, by the way, ground floor is mentioned as first floor in Taiwan. This is all the shopping mall. All railway related services and also the metro can be found at the lower level. The lower level is where you find most facilities for the railway and also the metro obviously. However, for a big part, this also feels like a shopping mall. If you need to buy things, you don't need to worry if you are around here. Food for your journey and well, lots of other things, you all find it here. This is a true intermodal transport hub, and having all these shops right next to all of these modes of transportation might be very convenient, for example on your commute. Apart from the taxi stands at the higher level, basically the street level around the railway station, there's also a lower part where is another taxi stand. This is more or less at the railway station. Well, once again, super convenient. This is a really modern railway station. What is a great thing about public transportation in Taiwan is that you will find lots of toilets, and these toilets are for free and they are clean, at least in general. I really like to see this a bit more in Europe as well. I mean, there are even free toilets at the metro station. And I'm not only talking about the bigger metro stations, but basically all of them. At the lower level, where you find access to the railway tracks, there are many railway-related services, like for example ticket counters, vending machines, left luggage lockers, and tons of screens with information about departing trains. Directions have been mentioned crystal clear within this railway station in obviously Mandarin Chinese, but also in English. Traveling by metro and train in Taiwan if you don't speak Mandarin Chinese is no problem at all. Songshan is actually the only intercity railway station in Taipei that doesn't serve the high-speed trains. The high-speed railway system is a totally separated system in Taiwan. However, at 3 out of the 4 biggest railway stations in Taipei, you will find both the high-speed trains and the conventional trains. Something that's typically for Taiwan although people also relate this really to Japan, is that you find some spots where you can buy a bento box before you go on your train journey. And you can buy those bento boxes over here. Apart from this spot selling bento boxes, you can also buy railway related souvenirs, and this is obviously what I did this time as well. Thanks to buying these souvenirs, our luggage was just not too heavy on the way to Europe again. I'm happy I didn't buy more. Just like most bigger railway stations in Taiwan, you will find access gates. Right after the access gates, there is some general waiting area and there are even more shops. Once again, if you're traveling with local trains, you can also use your EC card, but if you're traveling with one of these trains that I'll be taking in this video, you need to have a separate ticket. You need to put this ticket in the machine, also keep it with you while you are on the train, and you also need to go through the gates at the end of your journey. For the rest, this railway station speaks for itself. If you need to go to the metro, just follow the signs MRT and the trains the signs TRA. There are 2 platforms where you find 4 tracks. And the platforms, they speak for themselves. Before I continue with this video and before I show you the trains, let me tell you something about this Taiwan trip in general. This video is a part of a round trip around Taiwan by train. And Taiwan is an island of contrasts, seamlessly blends tradition with innovation. And even though Taiwan is not very big, the diversity is enormous. On the west coast you find many big cities, while in the central and the east coast of the country it's pretty much uninhabited and you find lots of great nature over here. In the modern cities with millions of people, modern skyscrapers share the skyline with ancient temples, reflecting an harmonious coexistence of the past and the present. Within this series we'll be taking all kinds of trains in Taiwan. Some of them are very exceptional, some of them are just regular commuter trains, but mainly we'll be traveling on board of long distance trains. However, we won't be taking the high-speed trains you can find in Taiwan, because on the west coast you do find a very good high-speed railway network as well. And apart from the trains, we like to show you a little bit more about Taiwan, because my girlfriend is originally from here. So it's a kind of my second home. So join us on this Taiwan trip by train. For now it's time to show you the train I had on this route. And I was really surprised to see this rolling stock on this route. The main railway line around the island of Taiwan has been totally electrified. However, this here is a diesel powered train. It's not that long ago since the entire railway line around the island has been electrified. However, I didn't expect a diesel-powered long-distance train. But this is one of them, and you don't find a lot of these trains anyway. Somehow, it makes more sense to me if these diesel-powered trains, that are long-distance trains, will also serve a small branch line and a longer distance. But that's not happening. So I was really surprised to see this. This is a Taiwanese railway class DMU 3100. And these trains have been built in Japan in 1998 for the Taiwanese Railway Administration, what is the railway company for the non-high-speed lines here in Taiwan. Like I already mentioned, I took this train actually from Hualien to Taipei, and this here is at the railway station of Hualien. If you buy a ticket for these trains, tickets do come including a seat reservation. Digital displays at the side or the outside of the train do indicate the carriage number, the train number, and also the route, so some stations along the way, final destination, etc. There are no icons indicating what facilities can be found where. These trains were mainly being used for the railway section from Hualien to the south, so from here to Kaohsiung. However, that part of the railway line has been totally electrified now as well, making these diesel-powered multiple units basically not really necessary anymore. However, I think it makes sense to still use these trains as some occasional long-distance trains that will also serve some smaller branch lines that are not electrified. However, that's not what they are doing with these trains, and since they're technically still totally fine and retiring trains that are totally fine doesn't make a whole lot of sense, these trains will be used for these routes. These trains do consist of 3 carriages per train set, and our train today consisted of 3 train sets, so in total 9 carriages. I've heard that in Japan older trains will pretty often be bought by commercial companies. However, in Taiwan this doesn't make a whole lot of sense because it's a small country and that same thing counts for the railway lines. However, the technique is basically the same as in Japan, so basically they can ship these trains to Japan as well. Anyway, let's take a close look at the interior of this train, and this here was the bigger accessible toilet that's at one end of the train. Actually, per train set, so per 3 carriages, you find this toilet, and this is a Western style toilet. The seats do come in a long distance bus or airline style composition and can be put into driving direction. The leg room is really generous. I'll show you more of this in a bit. Right above the entrance doors within the open compartments, a small number will indicate what carriage number you're in. Because the seats are in driving direction, behind the last row there's quite a lot of space for luggage. But obviously, you also find the overhead luggage racks throughout the train. And actually because you have quite a lot of leg room, putting not too big suitcase obviously right in front of you is not that crazy either, although the footrest might stand a little bit in the way. Every carriage has a toilet. However, per 3 carriages there's only 1 Western style toilet. There's also this area right next to the toilet, I think for officially water or so. I don't know, if you know this let me know in the comments. And I think when they made these trains, this used to be a phone booth. Well, we don't need that anymore nowadays. This here are the other toilets, and these are squatting toilets. Personally, I really don't mind squatting toilets, but on a moving train it's not my favorite way of doing my business. The open compartments, so the carriages, are basically all the same, and this train comes in 1 class only. You also find the newer DMU 3000 trains on this route, and those trains also do have business class. You can find a video on those trains as well on my channel. Because the seats are in driving direction, if you turn 1 pair of seats around, you can face each other. There's not a table in between or so. At the other side of these train sets there's more space, and over here you find another squatting toilet. And what I like most are these seats, because right next to here you can open the window and you can have a look at the driver. Although at the total front and the back of the train they closed the access door for the driver, so you can actually not really have a good overview with the driver, to be honest. However, this way you can have a overview of the kind of cockpit. Like I already mentioned, tickets do come including a seat reservation, and the seat numbers are located right under the luggage racks. Because the seats need to be able to turn around, the leg room is really generous. The footrests, well, I couldn't fold it away. I'm quite tall and I don't really like this footrest. I was a bit confused on how this works. I couldn't push it away. I can push it down or up, and that's basically it. And because there's such a generous amount of leg room, if you fully recline the seats, you are absolutely not bothering the person right behind you. There are no litter bins near the seats, you'll find them between the carriages, and apart from that, someone will come by every now and then to collect waste. Within this train I didn't notice a trolley service though. Seats can be reclined with a button at the side, and you can pull them back quite far. These trains don't have Wi-Fi and there are no sunscreens at the side. However, you find curtains that can function like a sunscreen. Of all the Tze-Chiang Express trains I had in Taiwan, these trains are definitely the most simple trains I had so far. However, they're okay and they're comfortable and they're good enough to do the job what they're serving for. But there are definitely more comfortable trains you can find on these routes. If you're traveling with kids, the older electric Tze-Chiang Express trains do have a kind of play area for kids as well. For now, I'll show you some views from the train between Hualien and Taipei, and I'll get back to you at the end of this video. So this was a different train than I expected at first actually. Anyway, I still hope you liked this video or this has been a helpful video to you. If so, please give me a thumbs up. I bought a souvenir at the shop here at the railway station. Box, storage box, in the shape of a train. And that's what I really like about these shops you can find here at the railway station. Anyway, I hope you like this video or this has been a helpful video to you. If so, please give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, then hit that subscribe button. And before we really end up this video, one last thing. Once again, thank you for watching. If you are interested in other trip reports, of course you can subscribe to this channel and I upload more new videos. You can also find them on this channel, of course. However, in the description of this video on YouTube, you also find a link to a map, and on this map you can find all trip reports as well. See you on the next video.